Alright. So, okay, so this is another video for y'all. Okay, this, first off, I want to talk about a little bit. So, the word congruent here means that it's going to be the same size and the same shape. Okay? Same size, same shape. Alright? And I'm going to actually move that so y'all can see it. Alright? And that's going to be the definition of this word right here. Okay? There is no formal notes today, just going over how to answer some of these questions. Alright? So, what you're going to do, okay, if you're told that these two triangles are congruent, alright, the matching parts, okay, so like angle A here is going to be congruent to angle D here, and segment AC, okay, it's the first two letters in this name of this triangle, and DC are going to be congruent, so that's this segment right here, and this segment right here, alright, so those are congruent marks on that, and then CE, because that's the second two letters, are going to be congruent to CB. Alright, so those two segments are congruent. And that means that our third set that we didn't mark, which is AE, so notice that the A is in the first part and the E is in the first part here. So AE is going to be congruent to DB, because that's the first letter and the last letter in this triangle name, because we said that the triangles were congruent. So this symbol means congruent, alright? And so this segment right here, I'm going to put 3 congruent marks over here because those match, alright? So what we're going to do for this is, if it's the same size, then those segments are going to be equal in length, okay? So if we're trying to solve for x using this picture, we are going to just set our expressions equal. So 5x plus 11 equals 7x minus 5. Alright, and so when we solve this like normal, alright, we are going to solve it where we, so we're going to move the x's over to one side and then move our numbers to the other and then divide by whatever number is in front of x. Now, there's another way to do it without having to actually solve this out. Okay, we are going to grab a calculator. Okay, turn it on. You're going to go to the home screen, go to a new document, don't save. Okay, we're going to add a calculator. Okay, so you hit the home button. Okay, go to a new document and add calculator. Okay, and that's going to give us a spot to work. Now, if you are wanting to solve without actually having to solve this out, okay, you're going to use what is called numerical solve. All right. Now to get that, you're going to hit menu. Okay, and that button is going to be right here under the, so there's the on, dock, and then menu. So you're going to hit menu. Okay. Now we're doing algebra here. Okay, this is an algebra problem. We're going to go down to algebra in the calculator. Alright? We're going to go down to algebra in the calculator, and we're going to hit enter. And it's going to bring up this list of things to do. Alright? So, we're going to go with numerical solve because we want to solve our problem. Okay? And so we're going to hit that. So, menu, and then 3 for algebra, okay, is the next step, and then we're going to do 1, which is numerical solve. Alright, and you're going to hit enter, and then it's going to pop up on the screen. It's going to say in solve here, okay, and then have an open parentheses, your blinking cursor, and then close parentheses. So what we're going to do is we're going to type our equation exactly as we see it here. Alright, so 5x plus 11, so 5, and then the x is going to be at the very, very bottom of the calculator. It's the first white button on the bottom, okay? All right, and then plus 11, so plus 11, and then equals. So the equal sign is right underneath control, right? It's going to just have the equal sign right there. And then you're going to say, and then you're going to type 7x minus 5. All right? Now, in your calculator so far, you will have 5x plus 11 equals 7x minus 5. All right? Now, if you try to hit enter at this point, it will say this. It will say error, too few arguments. And the reason for this is that our calculator only knows so much. It doesn't actually know what you're trying to solve for. And if you hit enter or OK, it'll leave it on this line, right? And the cursor will have moved outside. We want to keep it inside, right? And then just put comma, and then we're trying to solve for x, so we're going to hit comma x, and then if we hit enter, it will tell us our answer. Okay, so here we get x equals 8. All right, so if you are solving with the calculator, okay, use insolve, okay, and I'm going to just basically, I'm just going to make our first line look like the calculator does. So I'm going to put insolve, open parentheses, and then after this minus 5 on the end, I'm going to put comma x, and I'm going to close the parenthesis, okay? And then we're going to have x equals 8. And this is going to be our answer. Since we're just solving, it just wanted us to solve for x. That's all we have to do, okay? And then we are good to go, all right? So that's our answer for this problem, okay? Now, the next question says solve for y, all right? Solve for y. And so we're going to do a similar thing here. Now, okay, if you notice, AC is our first two letters here, and DC is our first two letters here. So these are going to be equal, which is nice because we have to have them be equal so we can solve. All right, so we're going to do 4y minus 12 equals 7y minus 18. All right, and then we're going to use our calculator again. So the buttons are, again, menu, algebra, or 3, and then numerical solve, which is number 1. And you can either hit the buttons, like the numbers, to get that to happen. So like you can hit menu 3, 1, or you can hit menu, and when it pops it up, I'm gonna redo that. So menu, okay, and you just scroll down. Okay, click. Try not to use this because it will move a lot and it may be hard to use. So just click on the outside. Okay, don't touch the trackpad here where it has a little yellow hand or this arrow. Okay, and then hit enter. So that may be hard to see. So enter, is right here where you would hit enter for solving or for typing something in the calculator. Right. So and then numerical solve. Okay, so enter again, and then that's going to be how you get that up on the screen, or on your calculator screen. And then this time, we have a y, which, if we look down at our alphabet, is just right next to x. All right, so we're going to type 4y minus 12 equals 7y minus 18. Now, since we are solving for y, because there are y's here, and it tells us to solve for y, we're going to put comma y in our calculator. So comma y in the calculator, and then we can just hit enter. We don't have to like do what we did on the first one where it had error. Okay, you can just hit comma and then the variable that you're using, and then it will give you the answer. So y equals 2. Right? Now, when you are solving these this way, I do want you to write insolve next to it and put it in parentheses, okay? Because this is exactly what is typed into the calculator, right? It's kind of getting you to practice, and you can start writing this instead when you're solving problems, and then you can just 100% go in and type it the same way, make it match, all right? But y equals 2 is our answer, okay? Okay, on 3 and 4, these are the same pictures here. On 3, you're solving for x, okay, and on 4, you're solving for y. All right, so make sure you're aware of that. On number 5, you're solving for x. Okay, again, so flip it over and we will look at the back side. I want to see if there are any ones where we have to plug in our solved number to find the actual length of the sides. And that's what we would solve for originally, but I was trying to get you to just practice solving and then do it later, so that way it would be a little bit easier on this assignment, okay? So, flip it over. I think actually all of these are that. Okay, go ahead and, because we haven't learned why those two triangles in number 5 are congruent, so just go ahead and skip this problem, number 6. Okay, cross it out. Okay, we haven't learned that yet. Okay, I wanted to just talk about solving because I wanted this Friday to be real easy. Okay, so again, we're going to cross out number 8 because it says, why are the two triangles congruent? We haven't talked about it yet, so we're just going to solve for x on that one. But let's look at number 9. We're also going to cross out 10 because, again, it's asking, why are the two triangles congruent? And again, we haven't learned why they're congruent yet. So on number 9, it says to solve for x. Okay, so what we need to do here is we're going to create our equation again. All right. So we have 2x squared for this one and 16 over here. These two sides are going to be equal. So 2x squared equals 16. All right. And on this one, we're going to, again, try to do in solve. So we're going to, we're going to write this in our calculator. So in solve of 2x squared equals 16. And we're solving for x, okay? So in our calculator, we're going to hit menu, go down to algebra, and then numerical solve, okay? And then we're going to type 2x squared equals 16. And then we're going to hit comma, which is, by the way, if you didn't know where the comma was, because I maybe forgot to say, it's right next to the letter O, okay? Comma, and then the x, okay? And so we're going to hit enter. And then it's going to tell us this decimal, okay? And that's fine, because what happens here is that if you were solving this one out by hand, okay, so I'm going to write x equals that 2.828, okay? And we're just going to round there. We're just going to stop. We're just going to leave it as that, okay? But when we are solving this one, if we were solving it by hand, okay, I'm going to rewrite the equation that we're trying to solve, 2x squared equals 16. We would divide by 2, and then x squared would equal 8. And if you take the square root of 8 in your calculator, so to get the square root, you're going to hit the control, and then the button next to 4, the x squared, all right, in case you've forgotten, all right, and then 8, okay, and do that, and see how these match? They're both 2.828. 4-3, and then they continue after that. Okay, but so these are going to be our decimals that we're going to get. So like they match there, so it solved it for us, and we didn't have to do the square root of 8. Okay. In the future, we may have times where we actually do stuff with the square root of numbers. All right, and we have to talk about how to simplify radicals. And not actually just get a decimal answer like this, okay? But so this is what you're doing today. It's only a few questions long. I don't want to like stress y'all out too much, okay? But also it's Friday, so hopefully this video finds you well and you are good to go.